Welcome to In 5 Minutes. Now we'll discuss some algorithms with iterations. Here we'll be writing a first algorithm to find sum of first n natural numbers. Now remember, in our algorithm, if we are going to process lots of values or multiple values, or we are supposed to do something multiple times, we will use typical iteration statement that we have seen in the previous video. So it will be a typical iteration algorithm. Now in this case we are going to add n numbers where n can be 50 or n can be 10 or n can be 17. So we are going to process lots of values together. It will be obviously a iteration problem. Now just think of it, if human being as a machine is going to add n numbers, what the machine requires. First we have to input, that is we have to get what is n is. So our first question will be what is n. Now suppose n given was 4, so we are going to add 1 to 4 numbers. Now while adding this 1 to 4 numbers, what our brain is going to do? It is going to keep track of two things. One is sum till this point, and to add number 1, 2, 3, 4, in our mind we need to generate this sequence of numbers. To generate this sequence of numbers, let's take an example. We'll assume some variable as I. So in our mind, first we'll generate number 1 and add it to sum. Sum is now 1. Then in our mind we'll increment that value to 2, add it to sum to make it 3. Again increment that variable in our mind to make it 3 and add it to sum, it will become 6. Again increment the value to make it 4, add it to the sum, it will become 10. Now since our count is same as the number of elements to be added, we'll stop the process. And this is the sum of first n natural numbers. How we'll get this done from computer? So for computer, to perform this task, our first step will be to input value for n. Then we'll initialize or we'll set the summing value as 0 and the counting value as 1. Now why that summing value is 0? Because first time when you take the sum, that time sum is unknown. So we need to set it to 0. So now we'll start working. We'll input the value of n. Take an example, it is 4. We'll add I to sum, it will become 1. Increment I by 1, it will become 2. Add it to sum, it will become 3. Increment I, it becomes 3. Every time we'll keep checking, is it less than or equal to 4? That is less than or equal to n. Since it is yes, we'll again add it, it will become 6. Again increment the counter, it becomes 4. We'll add it to sum, it becomes 10. We'll increment it, but this time it becomes 5, and we'll stop the sum. After this sum is stopped, we'll print the given sum. Now we are not going to print sum till we do the addition of n numbers. So we'll be repeating the task of adding the number to the sum, increment the number, add the number, increment the number, add the number, increment the number. That will be done by n number of times, and then we'll be printing sum once only. So that will be done after the iteration, that is repetition, is finished. Now let's see how the algorithm will look like. So what we'll be repeating? We'll repeat a process of I less than or equal to n, then add I to sum, increment I. Again check I is less than or equal to n, then add I, increment I. This process will be repeating till I crosses n. But then we need to input n first, and then we need to set I equal to 1 and sum equal to 0 at the beginning. So our algorithm will start like this. We'll set I equal to 1. So in computer's memory, initially I is set to 1 and sum is set to 0. Now we need to know what is n is. Our next step should be to input value for n. That we'll be doing by writing print and read command. We'll write print enter n and then read n to input the value. Then we'll tell computer while I, that is counter, is less than or equal to n, add it to sum, increment the counter. So this will be repeated multiple times, and then the next step should be display the value of sum that we got in the above iteration. So here we'll write print sum, and then algorithm should stop. So this much part will be repeated multiple times. Let's see how the algorithm works. First I is set to 1, then sum is set to 0. Then on computer screen I'll get a message enter n. Suppose the input value was 4, it will be accepted into n by read n statement. Suppose n is 4, then this statement will start repetition till I less than or equal to 4. So the condition is true, sum is equal to sum plus I, so sum will become 0 plus 1, that is 1. Then I equal to I plus 1, I becomes 2, it repeats. I is less than or equal to 4 is true, so it goes down. Sum is equal to sum plus I, so sum changes to 3. Then I equal to I plus 1, I becomes 3. Then again process repeats itself to check I less than or equal to n is true. It's true, so it goes down. Sum is equal to sum plus I, so sum becomes 3 plus 3 is 6. Then I equal to I plus 1, I becomes 4. Algorithm checks the condition is true. Since it is true, it adds sum is equal to sum plus I, that is 6 plus 4, 10. Then again I equal to I plus 1 occurs, I becomes 5. This time the condition is false and the iteration will stop and go down to next step. Next step is print sum. So finally on our screen we'll get the answer as 10, which is addition of 1 to 4 numbers. Thank you.